we're so grateful for all that you're doing. I'm Jill, co-host here. Thank you.
And Mark, once we get, are we live already? On
No,
streaming, I mean? Not yet?
That's what I'm waiting for right now. Give me a second.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, actually we are streaming and I need to okay, let's go live. I'll start the webinar right now. And Jill, you can.
And can you make sure to highlight the speaker when we're speaking?
No, ma perché è collegata? No, non è collegata.
Okay, Jill, you're live.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, greetings and gratitude to all of our illustrious speakers and everyone who is tuning in today to this extremely important and exciting webinar. We're going to start off with some instructions momentarily because this is an amazing event being live interpreted in 5 languages. And I'll just say that I'm Jill Stein. I'm one of the co-hosts today, and let me turn it over to Adrian Pine to say a few words very quickly about how this will work with the live interpretation, and then we will begin the actual program and our welcomes. Go ahead, Adrian.
Thanks, Jill. Welcome, everyone. I'm just going to, as Jill said, explain interpretation very briefly. I will do this first in English, and then we will do it, I'll do it in Spanish, and we'll do it in the other languages. We have not yet started the simultaneous interpretation, but when we do, what you do is you will click on the globe at the bottom of your screen and select the appropriate language for yourself. En español, para los que están viendo en castellano, no hemos iniciado la interpretación todavía, pero cuando terminamos esta pequeña presentación sobre interpretación, lo único que tienen que hacer es darle clic en el globo que dice interpretación en la parte de abajo de su pantalla y escoger español. Y vamos a iniciar en unos momentitos. Si le puedo pedir sorry, if I can ask Maria Francesca to explain Italian and also the Chinese bit. We can't hear you. Did Mark put...
Muted?
Oh, Mark, did you put everyone in the booths already?
Yes.
You need to take them out of the booths.
Okay.
Bear with us if you would. We are breaking new ground here.
Okay. So go ahead.
Ok, ciao a tutte. Sono un paio di istruzioni sulla traduzione che ora non è iniziata ancora, quindi finora non avete compreso, però appena verrà attivata funziona in questo modo. Cioè voi ora dovete cliccare c'è una figurina del mondo in basso, che significa l'interpretariato, e selezionate la vostra lingua, però nel caso dell'italiano purtroppo c'è un piccolo problema tecnico, quindi dovete selezionare il cinese. C'è scritto cinese, ma in realtà è l'interpretazione italiana. Grazie.
Thank you so much, Maria Francesca. Rosa, could I ask you to explain in Portuguese?
Oi, me escutam bem? A gente está fazendo agora, ainda não começou a interpretação, estamos dando só instruções. Para os que vão escutar em português, basta vocês clicarem no ícone de mundo e selecionar a língua portuguesa.
Thank you so much. And finally, Ahmed, if you could explain in Arabic.
أهلا وسهلا بكم جميعا. ستكون هذه الجلسة مترجمة لعدة لغات، ل5 لغات. لتقوم بالسماع للغة التي تود السماع بها، اضغط على زر الترجمة الفورية بالشريط في أسفل الشاشة واختار اللغة المفضلة لديك. شكرا.
Thank you so much. Mark, if you could click start on the interpretation now so that perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, Jill, if you want to take it and then.
And we'll go from there. All right. So again, welcome so much to everyone who's here. We're extremely excited about today's webinar, and we're very grateful to all of our speakers, to our interpreters, and to all of you who've made time on your Sunday, whatever time it is for you. I want to quickly thank our co-sponsors as well. Labor for Palestine National Network, the USBB, and forgive my Italian here, Unione Sindacale di Bas, the grassroots trade union, which is such an inspiration to all of us, and the ICSGP, the International Coalition to Stop Genocide in Palestine. And I want to reiterate that we will be speaking slowly because we are being translated at least once and in some instances twice. So bear with us while we develop this very wonderful means of communicating across many borders so that we can build the power that we have, the people power that we acquire by being larger than our particular national boundaries, especially in this struggle that is so critical to all of us, this moment of great crisis in Palestine, in which the genocide is absolutely continuing, despite the mythology that there is a so-called ceasefire. This is being used as an opportunity to intensify and make permanent the occupation. So our collaboration becomes all the more important to harness the power that we have as a people's movement around the globe, the power of humanity to stand up together to stop this genocide. And we are so grateful for the role that the unions that are represented here and others are playing in this struggle. The title of this webinar is Labor Uniting for Palestine. Labor is not only uniting for Palestine, labor, organized labor, and these unions are galvanizing the world to take action for Palestine. One of the most powerful developments that we have seen in recent months are the dramatic moves of the unions blocking ports, stopping weapons shipments, canceling energy supplies, and actually, in the case of Italy, shutting down the whole economy. Here in the United States, we are in absolute awe watching the power of unions outside of the United States. So we wanted to help lift up these inspiring developments and your powerful and courageous actions, because your courage is contagious and is what we need here and all over the world. Many of the unions are also calling for a protection force for Gaza through the Uniting for Peace process in the General Assembly in order to supplement these other actions like weapons embargo and energy embargo and so on, because it's very difficult, as you'll probably hear today. As hard as it is to create an embargo, then you have to worry about the indirect embargoes and the efforts to bypass embargoes as well. So we need all the means we can to stop this genocide. And the history of genocide also suggests that, sorry, hold on one moment here. These are a little out of order. That genocide does not stop itself. And we as humanity have to take every means possible in order to shut this down as this genocide continues to drag on. So from the bottom of our hearts, we are so grateful to the work of the unions who are standing up in the best tradition of what union organizing is all about. And no one can say it better than the heroes who are here today. So with that, Adrian, do you want to add anything before we jump into our program here with our first speaker, who I'll introduce momentarily?
Sure, just want to ask Mark to make sure to highlight the speakers as they're speaking. And also one other thing, if you can add Sana, who is an interpreter to the English-Chinese booth, which is actually the Italian booth. Apologies for that. So thank you so much. And Jill, I'll let you go ahead and introduce Ubai.
Great. So as I mentioned, our speakers here today are the fearless leaders who are raising the bar for humanity everywhere. Our first speaker is an example of that. This is Ubai Aboudi, coming to us, I believe, from the West Bank, if I'm not mistaken. He is the director of the Bisan Center for Research and Development and a member of the steering committee of PINGO, which is the Palestinian NGO Network, an umbrella organization comprised of 150 member organizations, all working in different areas of humanitarian fields and development, with a mission of empowering and protecting the autonomy of Palestinian civil society, consolidating its role in the national struggle and the democratization process based on the principles of democracy, social justice, rule of law, tolerance, and respect for human rights. Aboudi has the unique distinction of having been arbitrarily arrested and jailed, both by the Israeli occupation forces and by the Palestinian Authority. A real tribute to his courage and his integrity and his insight and commitment to justice. He is a leading voice for Palestinian sovereignty and the right of return. So go ahead, Ubai. Thank you again so much for making the time to be here and for all you do.
Thank you, Jill, and you are so kind. Thanks for all the unions, all the union leaders, for Adrian, all of the civil society, for Roger Waters, for everyone here, and most importantly, also Mark and the interpreters that are doing all of the background work. That this couldn't be possible without them. And my apologies if I forget anyone. Look, what's happening right now is that the genocide has moved to a slower pace, but nonetheless, it's still continuing. Since the inaction of the ceasefire took effect, about 100 Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza have been killed. The vast majority, of course, are still in the Gaza Strip. The situation of malnourishment is decreasing, but it's still rapid. It's still high. We have not beaten famine back yet. The critical medical supplies that are essential for operating the 39 hospitals and 128 clinics that have been attacked and destroyed, the vast majority of them, are still not entering in enough quantities. Shelter is lacking. According to the reports in our hands from civil society, what entered for shelter purposes is a very small number that does not even begin to address the 1 million tents needed just to get through this winter. And winter in Palestine it has already started. We already moved for daylight, for the winter time. We already stopped daylight saving time. And the weather is getting colder. So the reports are also coming out from the Gaza Strip now that civil society and humanitarian workers are moving a little bit more freely among the population because the bombing is not so incessant as before. There's a widespread of diseases. We are seeing the ability of the people, especially children and the elderly, to resist diseases that has been completely, I would say, decimated. We are seeing spread of diseases that used to have some minor numbers among them, but disease is really spreading at this moment. In the West Bank, the Israeli violent occupation forces, which constitute the Israeli settlers and the Israeli army, are attacking Palestinians and preventing Palestinians from doing their olive harvest. Every day we are waking to a new pogrom, where gangs of Israeli settlers, accompanied and protected by the Israeli army, attack villages, Palestinian villages, destroy their property, shoot the people, and we have lost several lives for that. The olive harvest season is a staple food for Palestinians. It is estimated to bring in around $150 million to the West Bank economy. So what we are talking about at this moment is that the policy of starvation, of making the situation destitute for Palestinians is also increasing. And the Trump plan does not bring peace. People should understand this. What it promises is that the Palestinians ceasefire while the Israelis continue their colonial occupation, continue the siege on the Gaza Strip and on the West Bank, and continue the starvation and destructive policies in order to make both the Gaza Strip and the West Bank unlivable. You know, when the Genocide Convention was written, one of the main pillars of that was that not just by murder, but also by making the situation unlivable, unhospitable for the people to continue their existence. And this is what Israel has been doing for 2 years and is doing this systematically now. What we are facing now at the moment is another mandate, international mandate, like the one the British mandate Palestine had before 1948, where Palestinians were dispossessed, were killed, and were driven out of their lands. We are seeing the same playbook being promoted once again. What we are seeing at this moment, a war criminal who is Tony Blair being promoted as the new viceroy of Gaza. What we are seeing also at this moment, not a single mention of the West Bank. Trump said a couple of days ago, don't worry about the West Bank. The West Bank is fine. No, the West Bank is not fine. The West Bank is under constant attack. Palestinians in the West Bank are being killed on a daily basis. Among them are even dual citizens, Palestinians with American citizenship, that of course the Trump administration does not care about their lives because they are not Israeli. At this moment, we call on all labor unions to continue mobilization for uniting for peace, sending an international protective force for the West Bank and Gaza Strip that has a clear mandate to protect Palestinians, not a new occupation, like the Trump is suggesting with the stabilization force. What we are calling is continuing the pressure on governments to enact sanctions. The Israeli genocide apartheid mechanism is still working and still attacking Palestinians, and Palestinians on a daily basis. Our rights are being violated by this occupation / genocidal government, Israeli government, but also by their collaborators mostly from the global north countries, but also from other countries. So what we are calling here is to hold your officials accountable. Make Israel pay for its crimes through boycott, divestment, and sanctions. These activities are essential for bringing accountability and help mobilize in order to pressure your politicians to take concrete action. The situation has not improved. The situation has slightly improved in the Gaza Strip, but the situation is still dire and severe. What we are seeing now is the Gaza Strip, 53% of it is under direct occupation from the Israeli army. People are still emaciated. Not enough aid is going in. Not enough shelter is there for them. And disease is rampant while medical aid and medical professionals are being cut off. In the midst of all of that, Israel is also kicking out international NGOs that are trying to bring aid and to bring assistance for Palestinians. Israel is also doing systematic action to stifle Palestinian civil society through attacks, arrests, and designations of terrorism. These, we know, will not stop Palestinian civil society from its work, even when the US administration plays along the Israeli playbook and continues its attack against Palestinian civil society and against global civil society that is calling for peace and justice. Our call through the Pingo statement that we have issued numerous times over the years, but especially the last one, we are calling for peace and justice, and we understand that peace cannot be achieved without justice. So we thank you all and we salute you from Palestine in the names of all the Palestinian civil society activists in the West Bank, in the Gaza Strip, and the Palestinian people facing the darkest hours in our existence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ubai. It's always such an honor and just so important to hear from you. So thank you. We will move on now to our first labor panelist. I am really excited to introduce Leandro Lanfredi, who is a union leader in Rio de Janeiro's Oil Workers Union and Brazil's National Federation of Oil Workers. Leandro is also a writer in an international network of workers' online publications called La Izquierda Diario. Leandro has helped lead his union and federation to vote to impose an energy embargo on Brazilian oil to Israel. That demand has gained traction. There have been no direct exports in 2025, down from nearly 10% participation in Israel's imports in 2023. Leandro and his comrades are now starting to track Brazil's oil exports to Israel through third countries to try to take measures to stop that as well. They participate actively in every rally in support of Palestine and have engaged in truly impressive international worker solidarity work. And before I hand it over to you, Leandro, I'm just going to ask Mark to play a very short clip.
Cada membro da delegação brasileira foi libertado do sequestro de Israel. Mas é importante dizer que ainda existem 6 membros da flotilha de outras nacionalidades que seguem encarcerados. É preciso dizer que existem, pelos números oficiais, 11.000 palestinos presos. É preciso dizer, no dia de hoje, que o genocídio não começou faz 2 anos, começou faz 8 décadas. Esse genocídio continuado, esse Estado genocida Israel, que cometeu mais um crime a impedir a ajuda humanitária de chegar a Gaza, mas que comete crime em cada agressão a cada
Okay, Mark, I think that's we can move on from there. Thank you. Just a quick clip showing Leandro in action. So let's turn it over to Leandro now.
Hi, I want to thank the opportunity to be participating in this so important debate, this growing international workers movement in solidarity with Palestine. We workers, we who produce, we move the world, we can make a difference in support of the Palestinian people's right to peace, to self-determination. Recently, we saw this great example of the 2 general strikes in Italy The precarious ceasefire that we have, amongst other factors, besides the most important, the Palestinian people's resistance, it comes after growing working class action and solidarity. That ceasefire has been violated since the beginning by the Zionist entity. We must denounce the colonial plan by Trump, by Macron. We must denounce the explicit complicity of governments of the majority of the world, including the Arab governments that block aid to Gaza, but allow oil weapons to reach Israel. I'm an oil worker. I work in Brazil's state-owned company, Petrobras, a state-owned company that is run by the state, but in benefit of the 46% of shareholders, mostly in Wall Street. So Brazilian oil plays a greater role in climate change and in keeping the genocide going. A genocide needs funding, it needs weapons, but it also needs oil. And here comes the part we are trying to play in this struggle. In Albanese's Genocide Economy report, it was pointed out that Brazil played a big role in providing fuel for the genocide, as much as 8% of the Zionist entity oil imports in 2023 and 2024. Brazil oil exports in 2024, amidst this phase of the genocide, increased 51%, meaning greater material complicity. Even before that report came out, we were trying to track this bloody oil business, and we were starting to discuss in assemblies, rank and file assemblies, that we need to block that any single shipment of oil to Israel. We voted in our most important decision body, our Rio de Janeiro's Union Congress, with over 100 delegates representing all the workers, voted unanimously that we are for Brazil to break all commercial, military, and diplomatic ties with Israel, and against selling any single drop of Brazilian oil to Israel. Later on, we also voted unanimously the same thing in our National Federation of Oil Workers. We have organized protests in Petrobras headquarters. We've sent letters to the company's CEO, to the Brazilian government. We've participated in a public auction in Brazil's House of Representatives, and we are starting to do initial actions as a 1-hour strike we did in one oil terminal. And we have discussed that the stop of shipments to Israel to be part of our initial mobilizations. We are mobilizing right now around our work contract, and this demand in support of the Palestinian people to be part of our mobilization. Our movement here in Brazil faces some odds. One of them is the distance to Palestine, both physical and cultural. And we have to point out the link between Israel and US imperialism. US imperialism that is right now in a growing aggression in Latin America, just attacking vessels in Colombia and Venezuela. And the defeat of an important imperialist ally over there would strengthen our fight for true independence here. Another idea that we need to face here is that is the idea that Brazil is already doing enough. Lula, our president, calls what Israel is doing by its proper name. He calls it genocide. For the majority of the union leaders in Brazil, that is enough. They don't want to express pressure on the government and expose its contradictions. Our allegiance, however, lies with the working class and peoples of the world, and not to a corporation or a government. Brazil has not, as of now, it didn't break its free trade agreement with Israel. And it's actually increasing the purchase of weapons and intelligence software, first trialed in Palestinian bodies and then later in our people. Different universities in Brazil have done student and worker strikes to break ties with Israeli universities and corporations. And so far, 4 universities have passed motions in that sense. We workers, we must not stop where the corporations, where the government stop. Words are fine, but we need decisive action. And that's not going to come through capitalist governments, not even those that have a more progressive international speech. It will only come as a result of worker organization and action. And again, as I've said, the Italian general strike is such a strong example for all of us. In 2025, our research, we found that Brazil keeps providing fuel to Israel. Now through a refinery in other countries, like a refinery in the Sardines in Italy. And we don't want our oil to play any part in the genocide, be a direct role or an indirect role, as it's happening right now. It is much harder tracking indirect shipments to Israel. And when we are standing in a pier ready to load the ship, we see it comes marked as export, but we don't know where it's going to get exported to. Maybe talking to the crew, we'll learn, oh, it's going to the Mediterranean, but where in the Mediterranean is it going? We need to improve our research, but above all, we are improving our resolve and our connections in strengthening internationalist workers' solidarity. We will need to move forward, as the Italians have said, to block everything. The Palestinian people's struggle is the most important struggle of our time. In it appears all the contradictions. Yeah.
Slow down.
All right. It's to conclude or too fast?
No, just too fast for the interpreters.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
No problem. The Palestinian people's struggle is the most important struggle of our time. In it, all sort of contradictions of our times express themselves. But also it expressed the infinite decision of resistance by the Palestinian people. No matter how many bombs, how many atrocities the Palestinian people keep fighting on. Inspired by that resistance, by that relentless spirit, the global Sumud flotilla set sail, hoisting the solidarity of the workers of the world. And from that point, we saw the historical action in Italy taking place, inspired similar action in the Basque country, Catalonia, and other regions of the Spanish state. And we saw such mass protests in many nations. In solidarity with Palestine, we are seeing an unprecedented wave of solidarity and workers' internationalism. Centuries ago, Marx and Engels wrote, "Workers of the world unite." And in solidarity, we are seeing the first seedlings, the first green sprouts of that idea taking place. We need to nourish that. Besides a union leader, I'm part of an international network of online workers, newspapers, La Izquierda Diario, in its Spanish name. And we're extremely proud to be actively participating and reporting on ground in 14 countries with workers, students, different backgrounds, different political, cultural backgrounds in our common struggle. And be that on land or in the flotilla, like my comrade worker in São Paulo's University, who was the Brazilian spokesperson, Brazilian delegation spokesperson recently in the Global Sumud flotilla, Bruno, his name. We are trying to contribute to the movement with the ideas of class independence and consciousness and workers' self-organization from the bottom up. With worker participation and democracy, we build stronger internationalist labor movement, knowing that is worker action that can bring about support for the Palestinian people. The struggle for peace, the struggle for a free Palestine from the river to the sea, it is the call of action for our generation. It is the most important struggle of our time, but it is also the beginning of a greater organization and conscience against capitalism, imperialism, and we will not give up until our victory everywhere.
Thank you so very much, Leandro, for your incredibly inspirational words and your inspirational actions. And as you've said, the role of labor here is to galvanize us all, workers and broader civil society, to the essential values that labor has always represented of internationalism, of solidarity, of basic human rights, and struggle really for the liberation of the working class, which is essential to our future. And indeed, we see in the struggle in Palestine now, as you've said so well, it really is a microcosm of our broader struggle against oligarchy, against empire, against militarism, which which threatens the future of us all. So we are all very much invested in the struggle of the Palestinians, to whom we are so grateful for bringing us together in this broader struggle. As Gaza goes, we all go. So thank you for your wonderful words. I'm going to turn now to another inspirational leader. This is Yose Navoi, who is spokesperson for CALP, the Autonomous Collective of Genoa Dock Workers, with which he has been active for years in opposing the trafficking of weapons and the handling of military materials, also coordinating with other European and Mediterranean ports. So from Yose comes the dock workers' motto, blocchiamo tutto, and forgive my Italian, basically that we will shut down everything. We will block everything. Yose has been a member of the Global Samud Flotilla, trying to break the naval blockade imposed by Israel in international waters and breaking the siege of Gaza. We're going to have Mark now, if you can, juggling many things behind the scenes there. If you could please play a clip of Yose, who has played such a powerful role in our call to action.
Siamo partiti col primo blocco vero, dove siamo riusciti a bloccare oggettivamente un armamento diretto in Arabia Saudita contro la guerra in Yemen, guerra che era dimenticata da tutti, e siamo riusciti ad accendere un faro su quella che è una delle guerre col più alto tasso di morte tra la popolazione civile dalla fine della seconda guerra mondiale. Da lì è iniziato il nostro percorso, costruendo non solo una sindicalizzazione all'interno del porto di Genova, partendo da questioni più generali legate alla guerra o alle condizioni internazionali e trascinandola all'interno del posto di lavoro, ma cercando di costruire un
Thank you. Take it away.
coordinamento nazionale dei porti.
Thank you, Mark. I think we're good with that. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Yose. Take it away.
Take it away, Jose.
Is he muted?
Yeah, let's see.
Yose, please take the floor.
Yose, let's see. Yose, can you unmute? Thank you.
Ok,
Great.
You're muted again, Yose. There you go.
eccomi. Scusate, che sono in giro per attività sindacali, appunto. Intanto grazie a tutti, perché è un'estrema emozione intanto stare in questa webinar con la presenza appunto di G-Steel, di Roger Waters e di tutti i colleghi a livello internazionale che si stanno mobilitando per la Palestina, che è una lotta che serve anche a noi per esprimere anche, diciamo, il senso di umanità e di solidarietà internazionale che per troppo tempo si è spento. Noi come collettivo, come CALP di Genova, appunto, da anni che siamo impegnati in quello che è il blocco del traffico di armi, bloccare navi con all'interno appunto armi dirette a Israele, ma non solo. Negli ultimi anni abbiamo bloccato anche armi dirette in Arabia Saudita, armi che poi venivano utilizzate contro la popolazione yemenita, che è stata una delle guerre col più alto tasso di morti tra la popolazione civile, soprattutto tra i bambini, dalla fine della seconda guerra mondiale a oggi. Quindi, come dire, i governi occidentali, i governi imperialisti occidentali portano anche per procura varie guerre, alimentando quelli che sono i conflitti per puro interesse economico. Noi in questo non ci stiamo, non vogliamo essere un ingranaggio di quella che è la macchina bellica rappresentata oggi dall'Occidente e soprattutto dalla NATO. Infatti noi che stiamo, diciamo, nella parte logistica, nell'ultima frontiera prima dei teatri di guerra, per una questione etico e morale, cioè perché il pensiero di andare a lavoro e essere manualmente, no, caricare gli armamenti sulle navi che poi sappiamo che vanno a uccidere migliaia di palestinesi, in questo caso non potevamo più supportarlo. Quindi abbiamo deciso di allargare la nostra lotta non solo dal porto di Genova, ma collegandoci anche coi porti d'Italia e coi porti a livello internazionale. Infatti con questo faccio anche un invito a chi ci ascolta di altri porti a partecipare a quelle che saranno le nostre mobilitazioni future. Questa è una data molto importante per noi in Italia, sarà il 28 di novembre, dove abbiamo già lanciato uno sciopero generale e stiamo decidendo in queste ore di organizzarci a livello internazionale con le altre realtà portuali e ovviamente lavorative. Questo perché crediamo che come dire, utilizzare una forte arma economica contro i nostri governi, che sono gli stessi che alimentano e sono complici di quello che il genocidio che sta portando avanti Israele, il sionismo in Israele contro la popolazione palestinese, sia un elemento efficace per contrastarli. Quindi le nostre mobilitazioni hanno un carattere di boicottaggio, diciamo, concreto, partendo dal ruolo del lavoratore. Con queste mobilitazioni, infatti, vogliamo anche, come dire, comunicare che il modello nella quale noi viviamo non è un modello, diciamo, etico, no? Perché oggi Israele rappresenta la massima espressione di quello che è il mondo neoliberale. E nei nostri paesi, come quello italiano lo viviamo in maniera più sottile, meno violenta, ma allo stesso modo repressiva. Quindi, come dire, creare, far sì che ci sia un embargo nei confronti di Israele, cosa che i nostri governi non fanno, sia la lotta necessaria sia per liberare il popolo palestinese, sia per liberare la classe operaia che ormai da troppi decenni è
Please slow
rimasta
down a
intrappolata
little.
nella logica neoliberale. Quindi per noi è fondamentale. Ok.
Oh, just asking him to slow down for the interpreters, please.
Vado? Sì, scusate, ma
Despacio.
mi arrabbio e allora vado un po' più veloce. E quindi per noi è necessario fare questo tipo di mobilitazioni, oltre al fatto che in Italia non vengono rispettate neanche le loro leggi, quindi è una forte contraddizione all'interno dello Stato borghese italiano. E questa legge, vabbè, è la 185 del 1990 che vieta diciamo, la spedizione, il transito di armamenti in stati come Israele, come Arabia Saudita, e per interessi economici non vengono fatte rispettare, o ad esempio quelle che sono le leggi internazionali. E proprio per questa motivazione ho deciso di imbarcarmi su una barche della Global Summit Flottiglia per aprire un corridoio umanitario e per rompere l'assedio che la popolazione di Gaza sta vivendo da più di 70